Welcome to the class of Business Studies. Today, we'll be dealing with the chapter Planning. What do you understand by the term planning? Planning is thinking in advance what has to be done, how, when, where, what, and by whom. And if we are able to get the answer of these many questions, it means we are set with the planning. Planning bridges the gap between where we are standing today and where we want to reach tomorrow. Planning does not mean that it is only for big organizations or private organization, maybe public, maybe government. No, it is even to the least individual person. Planning is not done only by one. It is done universally because it is pervasive in nature. We have n number of features. Let us see what are the features of planning. The first feature of planning is planning contributes to objectives, or planning focuses on achieving objectives. We cannot think of planning in the absence of objective. After setting up of the objectives, planning decides the methods, procedures, and steps to be taken for achievement of set objectives. Planning starts with the determination of objectives. And moreover, planners also help and bring changes in the plan if things are not moving in the direction of objectives. Take, for example, a firm decides to sell 2,400 refrigerators in 6 months. If sale of 400 refrigerators each month is not taking place, then definitely the enterprise must think of some better way, like sale discount or price cut, to achieve the final objective. Therefore, planning is really the one most important part because it contributes to objectives. Only after setting of objectives, the other work can be done. The second feature of planning is primary function of management. Why is it a primary function of management? Because it provides the basis of all other functions of management. All other managerial functions like organizing, staffing, directing, controlling are performed within the framework of the plans drawn. And that is why it is also referred to the primacy of planning. For example, in organizing function, managers assign authority and responsibility to the employees. And level of authority and responsibility depends upon objectives of the company. Remember, the objectives are made in planning. Similarly, in staffing, the employees are appointed, and the number and types of employees again depends on the objectives of the company. So therefore, planning always proceeds and remain at number one. That is the reason why planning is said to be the primary function of management. The third feature of planning is pervasive. An element of planning can be seen behind every human activity in an organization. Planning is required at all levels of the management. It is not a function restricted to top level managers only, but planning is done by managers at every level. Thus, planning is a pervasive activity covering the entire enterprises with all its segments and every level of its management. Top management does strategic planning, middle management looks after administrative planning, while the lower management concentrates on operational planning. Let me give you an example. Like a student may plan for his monthly test. The CEO of a company may plan to launch a new product in the market. A sales manager may plan to achieve his sales target, or a worker may plan his production schedule. It means planning is not confined to a category or department. It is pervasive in nature. The fourth feature of planning is futuristic. Planning follows forecasting as a technique of anticipating facts relating to future. It is an intelligent guess of future. Although uncertainty can never be completely eliminated, yet surely forecasting reduces to a minimum.
In simple words, forecasting means predicting future events and making provision for it. For example, on the basis of sales forecasting, a business enterprise prepares its annual plan for production and sales. So it means that it is futuristic in nature. The fifth feature of planning is a continuous process. As and when a problem is solved, some new problems may arise. Hence, planning cannot be based on rigid framework. Planning is therefore a dynamic and continuous activity. As conditions changes, old plans have to be revised and new ones are introduced. That is why it is rightly said, it is a bad plan which admits no modification. For example, a company has planned to sell 5,000 cars during 2020-21 in a particular area. That area, supposing, gets hit by flood, due to which the original plan cannot be implemented. The company will have to change its plan and prepare itself to achieve the sales target in some other area. It means the company cannot stay back with the same plan. It has to make a change and it has to move on in continuity. That is why planning has to be continuous in nature. The sixth feature of planning is planning involves decision making. Yes, planning involves choice from among various alternatives. The need for planning arises only when alternatives are available. A manager, after examining and evaluating the various alternatives, selects the best one. Thus, planning is essentially decision making. It is always said it not only pertains to defining a problem, which immediately confronts the manager, but often it mentally searches the future possibilities for problems that might appear. Therefore, planning involves decision making and is a selection of best among alternative courses of action. And the last and the final feature of planning is a mental exercise and an intellectual process. Planning requires application of mind involving foresight, intelligent imagination, and sound judgment. It is an intelligent activity of thinking rather than doing work because planning determines the action to be taken. However, planning requires logical and systematic thinking rather than guesswork or visual thinking. So, here we end up with the features of planning. I'll just take a recap. The first feature of planning is contributes to objectives. Second, primary function of management. Third, it is pervasive. Fourth, it is futuristic. Fifth, it is continuous. Sixth, the planning involves decision making. And seventh, planning is a mental exercise. Now let's study the importance or the significance of planning. Number one, planning provides direction. Planning is concerned with predetermined course of action. It provides the directions to the efforts of employees. Planning makes clear what employees have to do and how it has to be done. If objectives are clearly laid down, employees are aware of what the organization has to do and what they must do to achieve these objectives. In the absence of planning, employees would be working in different directions and the organization would not be able to achieve its objectives. Therefore, planning provides direction for the future work. The second importance is planning reduces the risk of uncertainties. Students, organizations have to face many uncertainties and unexpected situations every day. Planning helps the manager to face the uncertainty because planners try to foresee the future by making some assumptions regarding future, keeping in mind their past experiences and scanning of business environments. I hope everybody might be remembering what is scanning of business environment. We have done in the chapter business environment. Okay, the plans are made to overcome such uncertainties. And the plans also include unexpected risks such as fire or some other calamities in the organization. The resources are kept aside in the plan to meet such uncertainties. The third importance of planning is planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. The organizational plans are made keeping in mind the requirements of all the departments. The departmental plans are derived from main organizational plan. As a result, there will be coordination in different departments. And on the other hand, if the managers, non-managers, and all the employees are following course of action according to plan, then there will be integration in the activities. Plans ensures clarity of thoughts and action and work can be carried out smoothly. The fourth importance of planning, planning promotes innovative ideas. Planning requires high thinking and it is an intellectual process. So there is a great scope of finding better ideas, better methods, and procedures to perform a particular job. Planning process forces managers to think differently and assume the future conditions. For example, a company wants to expand its business. This idea leads to the beginning of the planning activity in the minds of the organizer. He will start thinking like this: should some other varieties of the existing product be manufactured? Or should some new branch be opened? Or should some new products be launched? In this way, many new ideas will emerge one after the other in the minds of the organizer. And by doing so, he will become habituated to them. He will always think to do something new and creative. That is why it is said planning promotes innovative ideas. The fifth importance, planning facilitates decision making. Planning helps the managers to take various decisions. As in planning, goals are set in advance and predictions are made for future. It reduces the probability of major errors and failures in managerial actions. Therefore, planning facilitates decision making, and these predictions and goals help the manager to take fast decisions or quick decisions. The sixth importance of planning is planning establishes standard for controlling. Controlling means comparison between planned and actual output. And if there is variation between both, then we need to find out the reasons for such deviations and take measures to match the actual output with the planned. We have one chapter, controlling, as it is the last function of management, in which we'll be doing it in detail. Okay, but in case there is no planned output, then controlling manager will have no base to compare whether the actual performance or actual output is adequate or not. Therefore, planning provides the basis of control, and in the absence of planning, controlling is not at all possible.